I'm Anthony Shaw. I work for Dimension Data and I'm the Group Director for Innovation and Technical Talent. What we do today is we service a lot of enterprise clients all around the globe, and we look at their existing IT systems and problems, and we then bring in newer technologies like cloud, DevOps, automation, and we really help them accelerate the adoption of those new technologies. One of the ways I think all enterprises should be looking at digital transformation is not just trying to replicate or copy what other companies and their peer group are doing, but actually trying to leverage innovation as one of their core values. And one of the things we do in Dimension Data is really think about how we can be innovative, not just in our technology decisions, but in our day-to-day practices as well. When we talk to clients and teams about DevOps, there's an element of resistance because they believe they're already doing DevOps today. When we dig into that, they just have some run books or some scripts. And actually, when you think holistically about DevOps, it's a lot more than that. When we look at the DevOps problems, day zero, day one tends to be a typical focus, sort of continuous deployment, application automation. The day two problems are actually what are costing organizations more. But the clients that we work with, application deployment is maybe 5% of the overall problem. The rest of it is around operational support, availability, scaling, these kind of problems. And what we've managed to do with StackStorm is think about what does it look like in operation? How do we diagnose issues in runtime? How do we look at the performance as well? And how do we link those events into the application and into automation procedure? Being able to give the operations teams tools to diagnose issues, remediate issues, think about the day-to-day events, that's where DevOps can be really powerful, and that's where we've leveraged a lot of the technology in StackStorm. One of the examples we look at with day two automation is actually being able to respond to security incidents. As an example, we have an automation script with StackStorm that says whenever a new server is deployed in the cloud, we can actually go and run a security audit of that environment. That allows our security teams to be a lot more responsive. So instead of running a scan, let's say once a day or once a week, we can respond immediately to any changes in the infrastructure. Then the workflow will actually go and pick up and notify the teams as well. So really it's kind of looking at event-driven automation as not just something focused on development practices or application deployments, but actually it impacts teams like the security team, information security, storage and networking. I think siloing of DevOps teams is probably one of the biggest issues we see. Different teams within the organization may have picked a different tool set. And actually, when you think about trying to break down how we automate a particular technology or how you solve a problem with DevOps, having different tools and no collaboration is really a barrier to doing that. With all of our clients, what we found is that point solutions have definitely been multiplying. They've looked at a problem like monitoring, for example. They've picked one tool for monitoring the storage, another tool for monitoring their virtualization layer, and before they know it, they've got 20 different tools all monitoring something. When you actually think about the application, the overall availability of the application, you've actually got to go to maybe 8 or 7 different dashboards to get a realistic view about what's happening. And that's just visibility. When you actually think about control and which APIs do you need to speak to in order to make any changes in the system, you're immediately coming across bespoke automation solutions to do that. And that's really causing a lot of problems. I think the moment where we realized how powerful StackStorm was when looking at the event-driven automation problems, and really how powerful it could be to bring all of our different tools and systems together. Because StackStorm already comes with so many integration points, we can really leverage StackStorm as the glue between a lot of our newer DevOps tools and automation tools, as well as our sort of more traditional BSS and OSS tools. Before we used StackStorm, we actually had point solutions to automate different parts of our infrastructure. What we managed to do very quickly was to integrate that entire workflow. So we took a deployment, I think it was of around 6 days, down to around 5 hours. One of the things StackStorm's allowed us to do is to improve the collaboration between teams. Because it has an open source base, what we've managed to do is we've managed to keep a lot of the IP within source control. So teams can actually leverage knowledge and automation approaches all across the organization. With the focus on open source and actually being able to collaborate between teams, it's allowed the teams to accelerate a lot faster, to understand automation problems, and for there not to be too much repeating of problem solving within a company. One of the things you get from StackStorm is the collaboration of the broader StackStorm community. So actually you can leverage the community opportunity to ask any questions, to actually leverage some of the solved issues and integrations that they've already sourced.